Ladies and gentlemen, an incredible week of AFL football has come to an end, and it just shows more than anything the message that I've been trying to send. The AFL is way too unpredictable. So many teams that didn't expect to even come close to winning ended up taking a win over some very impressive competition. So let's get into the AFL Round 2 results. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be the AFL Round 2 results and reviews, opinions. As you all know, in the preview video, I dedicated my time to see who I think would win in the AFL Round 2. And unfortunately, there's a lot of teams that I predicted that didn't end up winning. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this one today, and hopefully you guys can join in and let me know in the comments what your record when you predicted every single game would be. So there's going to be a win and a loss record at the bottom of the screen. So obviously the wins is the amount of teams that I predicted would win the game, and the losses are the teams that I predicted to win that ended up losing. So hopefully you guys understand it. And before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn the notifications on, share the video and the playlist, and help spread awareness of this beautiful YouTube channel that of course I own. And yeah, enough about me, we'll get straight into it. The very first game, Richmond and Collingwood. Wow, this game. This was the very first game that came back from 3 months away, and honestly, it was a defensive masterclass from both teams. Collingwood and Richmond played their hearts out defensively. You could tell they were rusty, more so Richmond than Collingwood in my opinion, but it's very similar to the Melbourne and Carlton game, which we'll get to later on. So Richmond had a very poor start, and Collingwood looked amazing. Collingwood looked like they didn't lose a beat from 3 months ago till now, but Richmond, being that fighting team that they are, they brought it back in the second half, and Collingwood seemed to kind of buckle a bit. The tides changed from the first half to the second half, and Collingwood ended up buckling a bit. And unfortunately for both teams, it ended up being a draw. So who did I predict? I predicted Collingwood was going to win this game, and for the most part, I was going to be right, to be honest. I really thought even by the fourth quarter, Collingwood would win this game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way for myself. And a lot of people are telling me, you can't count that as a loss for me because it was a draw. It's no team won. You shouldn't count that as a loss. But I am going to count that as a loss. That's a loss for me. Even the team that I predicted to win didn't necessarily lose. I could have predicted a draw. The draw is an option in these prediction videos, and I didn't predict it. So that's going to be a loss for me. I'm going to count that as a loss for me. It's not right that I get a get out of jail free card. No, I chose Collingwood would win, and I wasn't right. So that's a loss for me. This match was probably one of the better matches of the round as well. I know it was very low scoring, but you could tell these two teams are fantastic teams. Really, you could tell. And I think if these two teams end up meeting in the grand final, that's going to be a hell of a game. And it looks like most likely those two teams they're the favourites at this point to end up in the grand final. So let's see where things go, man. But enough about Collingwood and Richmond. We've talked enough about them. Going into the next game, Hawthorn versus Geelong. Now this game is very interesting. Now, before we go into the actual game, I predicted Geelong was going to win this game, and I got that right. That's a win for me. That's the first dub of the episode. But I didn't expect it like this. I thought this would be a close game, and from halftime, it was a close game. This game was close. This game was intense. People were saying Hawthorn were going to win by the second half, but Geelong in the third quarter just ran away with it. Even with they had a couple of people get injured in this game, but they just ran with it. They ran with it, and this just shows me that Hawthorn are not the team that people think they are. I don't think Hawthorn's going to get into the top 4. And to be honest, I'm contemplating whether or not they'll make the 8 or not. They just might, considering there are a bunch of other teams that really sucked in this round as well. But in the meantime, you have to give credit where it's due. Geelong, even though they lost to GWS in the first round, I said that they looked really good, and they looked tremendous in that second half, and they deserve this, and they deserve the credit. I think they're definitely going to be in the 8, Geelong, and this game will hopefully solidify that they're a dominant team. They have been for a while. They might not be the best team out there. They're probably not the favourites to win it, but they're consistently good every year, and that's because they're able to maintain the quality of players. Even if they get older, their performances are still high enough for them to be a good team. And that's all you need to know about Geelong, really. They have that quality in their play, both defensively and offensively, and I think it really showed with the amount that Hawthorn scored, 47, not good enough, and obviously Geelong scoring 108. You can tell there's a big difference in the two matchups, and this was supposed to be a rivalry game. So that's a big win for me. Next up, on the next day, the Saturday games, Brisbane versus Fremantle. Now, if you go to the preview video, I suggest you go watch back so you know that I'm not trying to play you guys. I actually predicted this before the round. So if you guys thinking, oh, look at this, he's just making stuff up, you can see in that video, I predicted these teams and also in the order as well. So I predicted Brisbane would win this game, and Brisbane won this game. And I think Brisbane looks pretty impressive out there. But Fremantle looked very impressive as well. And that's another thing that I have to stress. I did not think this game would be close at all. I said that Jesse Hogan coming back is a big win for Fremantle, and it was. I think Jesse Hogan played a good game, and I think majority of the Fremantle players played a good game. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. I think Brisbane used their experience to their advantage. I feel like Fremantle just didn't have the quality to end up getting close enough. 81-69 is a very good score to lose by, to be honest. It just shows that you play your absolute best. Both of these teams played very, very well, and I have to give credit to Fremantle where it's due. They may have lost that game, but they played well, and both teams played very well. And I think everybody expected Brisbane to win this game, and they did so, and they did what they were supposed to do at the end of the day. But I had to give my credit out to Fremantle because they played a hell of a game out there too. It's a two-sided team, to be honest. It's a two teams there. You have to give respect to both of them, and that's a dub for me. So I'm happy. I'm happy about that. And yeah, that's just the way it is, you know. Going into the next game, and this game, oh, there's so much to talk about with this game. Now, obviously, you guys know I am a Melbourne Demons fan. It's Melbourne versus Carlton, and Melbourne won by 1 point. So technically, this counts as a win for me, and it's going to count on the record as a win for me. But I have to be honest, this was probably the worst Melbourne performance I've seen in a long, long, long time. I have never seen such a one-sided performance from Carlton that didn't win the game. And if the quarters were any longer than what they were today, even if they were a minute longer per quarter, Carlton would have won this game. And the reason why Melbourne won this game is because we had one fantastic, and that one quarter was the best quarter I've seen in this entire round from Melbourne. But the 3 quarters after that were the worst I've seen out of any team this round. And we got very lucky to escape with a 1-point win, because I truly believed from the 3rd quarter that we were going to lose this game. And I'm happy that we didn't, but no one can express the anger that I feel towards my team right now. That's probably the worst victory feeling I've ever felt. And I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm not going to go and destroy players that played bad. Everybody knows from Melbourne who played bad. And Carlton, honestly, I think Carlton fans should be just as angry, because as you could have won this game comfortably, to be honest, and you didn't. If we didn't have that impressive first quarter, you probably would have been destroying us. So Carlton fans have the right to be angry as well. But Melbourne, there seriously needs to be work to be done, and I hope this is not going to be a preview of the rest of the season. I hope this is just one bad game, one bad area, one slip up, and it'll never happen again. But something tells me against Essendon, we're going to truly find out what Melbourne's all about, and I hope for the best. I really do. So I'm going to count this as a win, and honestly, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. If you guys want me to make an individual video just about that game and how I really felt from quarter to quarter, let me know. But until then, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. We won by a point, 54-53. Both teams sucked in this game. We'll leave it at that. Next game. And this one, I cannot believe. And it was a thrashing as well. Gold Coast versus West Coast, and Gold Coast destroyed West Coast 90-46. Now, I said in the preview I wanted West Coast to win, so that's a loss for me. Let me know what the score is at the moment for you guys right now. But I can't believe how look, I can understand with 3 months away, I can understand losing. Any team from this round, I can understand them losing, to be honest. But This was probably the one game I thought was completely nailed on that West Coast would win. Now, I guess the travelling and all of the situation of them not playing at their home for a long period of time might be a reason that they decided to come out pretty lackluster. Not really there, the skills weren't there, the effort wasn't there, and etc. But Gold Coast look really good here. And I also said I'm very happy if Gold Coast wins this game. And I am happy. I'm willing to take that loss to know that Gold Coast won this game. Because this is about momentum now. AFL has always been about momentum. If you have momentum, you can win games. It's not going to be easy, especially for a team like Gold Coast. But all it takes is one win to solidify that you could do this. And then you can go on for the rest of the season. It would be the most incredible feeling to know the Gold Coast will not be last this season. That's what I'm hoping for at the end of the day, unless Melbourne are last, and I don't hope for that. But Gold Coast, I don't want them to be last anymore. Like, they're last all the time. They deserve to get at least the second last, at least further up. And this is the start of something good for them, I hope. And beating West Coast is no easy feat. Hell, Melbourne couldn't do it in the first round. So Gold Coast, they've done something here incredible. If they could take that game and push it into the next round and push it further than that, and they could get consecutive wins, then we might say the Gold Coast in a few years' time could be a team that has something to be feared. Someone needs to fear them. People need to respect them. And this game, it might be a one-hit wonder type of game, or it might be the start of something very special for Gold Coast. I'm very happy for them, and I think they're going to be a tremendous team to see this season. I'm definitely going to have my eyes on them now, knowing that they beat West Coast, and by a good amount as well. That's a loss for me. Fair enough. I'll take it. Next up, Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. I predicted Port Adelaide would win this game, and I was right. But I also said that this was going to be a close game. And judging by the score, nowhere near. 110-35. Not even close. Port Adelaide, I believe this game had crowds. I didn't watch this game, even though I said I would. I apologize. Things come up. But I'm being proven right so far. Port Adelaide haven't had the best competition. We have to give them that. Adelaide and Gold Coast are not the greatest of competitions, but they have destroyed both of those teams. I truly believe Port Adelaide are going to make the top four. I truly believe they're going to be that sleeper team that no one can think will win it, and they will have a good chance because they are stacked everywhere. They have a great forward line. Their midfield, they're not the greatest midfield, but defensively they're solid as well. You could just tell that this team has something to them, and I know because they're not the most popular team, definitely not the most popular team in Adelaide, but there is something in that team. They have incredible players, and I really think that if they could take the next step, we will be talking about them in the top four. We could even potentially be talking about them being a sleeper to win the grand final. That's just me, in my opinion. I know people think differently. Some people might agree with me. A lot of people think Port Adelaide will barely make the 8. Whatever the case may be, that's my sleeper pick, and I'm going to keep picking them. I'm going to keep defending them until they prove me wrong, and so far they haven't. I'm very proud of that game. Going into the Sunday games now. Oh my. All right, there's a lot to decipher here. We're going to get a lot of losses on Sunday. So, the GWS Giants versus North Melbourne. Now, this is an incredible thing. Both teams played well in this game. I predicted the Giants to win. Of course, I predicted the Giants to win. But North Melbourne came out of nowhere and played like an all-star team. They were fantastic today. And I believe this is their second win. They're second on the ladder, I believe. I'll show the ladder at the end of the video. But, wow. They beat GWS, and they deserve to beat GWS. I saw the coach of GWS saying that they didn't have the effort or the skills. Look, to be honest, you can believe what you want to believe, but I believe both teams did play fairly well. I think, obviously, the behinds for both teams were a big problem, and if any team could kick straight, the score could have been different. Either side could have been further away, or could have been very close. It could be much closer than 20 points. But let's be real here, guys. AFL is not. We can't decipher just because both teams had a lot of behinds that's it. Look, it's at the end of the day, North deserved to win this game. And I think I'm starting to slowly change my mind about North Melbourne. Honestly, I am, because they beat St Kilda, and St Kilda is a team that's very hyped, very overhyped in my opinion, but they're hyped nonetheless. They have good players, and this round they did something incredible. So, and they beat a team like that, and not only that, they beat the Giants, who I predicted would be first. They beat two very, very overachieving teams. teams that are expected to make the 8, and even a team that's expected to be first, and they beat them. So at the end of the day, I can't sit here and say that North Melbourne aren't a good team anymore, because now I'd be lying to myself. I think North Melbourne have proven me wrong in a lot of instances, and until they can prove that they're not a good team, I'm going to back them a little bit more. Maybe North Melbourne is a team that we all need to consider as an overachieving team at this point, a team that doesn't have the players but will overachieve. They have something to prove, and hopefully they can keep going. I would love to see North Melbourne make the 8 if they could. I would love to see North Melbourne be close. I'd love to see North Melbourne not finish in the bottom half, because at the end of the day, that's what everybody predicts them to be. And maybe there's a chance that they won't be like that. We'll see. Anything can happen. Next up, Sydney versus Essendon. Now, this is the first dub for Sunday. I've predicted Essendon would win, and they won. But Sydney made this very close. And I said it's always going to be tough to go to Sydney and win a game. But Essendon did that. And I think most teams will do that against Sydney. Sydney are a poor side. And I've said that for the longest time, and I'm going to keep saying it. They're not the greatest side. They really aren't. But it's very tough to go to Sydney and win, and I think that's why this game was very close. And Essendon, the team that Melbourne are versing next week, they've come with a very good momentum victory against Sydney. They've gone to Sydney and they've won, and now they're going to carry their momentum over for round 3. So a very impressive start for Essendon as a team. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go from here. Again, they're an enigma team. We don't know what to expect from Essendon, but we're starting to get a clearer idea game by game who they are, what they are, and where they'll be. So very impressive stuff. But finally, and this game really pains me. Oh my goodness, this game pains me. All right. St Kilda versus Western Bulldogs. So I predicted Bulldogs to win, and boy oh boy was I wrong with this one too. St Kilda wins 88-49, and Bulldogs fans, I would get worried. I would seriously get worried. You got the Giants next game, and Giants might have something to retaliate, and if you don't retaliate with them, things could have a very drastic start for Western Bulldogs. St Kilda, now 1-1. They played a tremendous game, and not only that, I think Bulldogs made St Kilda look a lot better than what they really are. That's just my opinion. Each to their own. Maybe St Kilda played a hell of a game, but I just think Bulldogs were so poor, so lackluster, so lazy. I don't know how I could pick the Bulldogs of all teams to be the laziest team so far, but they have. They walk in. St Kilda walked in to Western Bulldogs 50 every single time, and they scored with ease. This game could have been well and truly over by halftime, and it basically was. So I don't know what to say about the Western Bulldogs. I don't know if they're going to recover or not. I hope they are, because the last thing that they should want to hear is someone calling their team lazy, because they're probably the team that you think about are the hardest working. Even if they don't have the talent, they're the hardest working team. And so far, they have not proven to anybody that they are a hard-working team. If anything, they've proven that they're a poor side with poor effort levels, poor tackling, poor marking. They couldn't do anything. And again, it resembles the Collingwood game a lot. They had 3 months to look at that game, to think to themselves that they need to retaliate. They're better than this. And they haven't done it. So next week, it's going to be, for my opinion, next week for the Bulldogs is an ultimate test to see where they're going to be this season. Are they going to make the 8 or are they going to fall? Because last year, they barely made the 8. And they took the majority of the second half of the season to catch up for their poor starts. But they're not going to have that opportunity with 17 games. They're not going to have that opportunity to catch up. They need to do it now. And so far, it doesn't look like they're going to have an opportunity to do it. So, St Kilda, fair play. 14 goals and 4 behinds. Very clinical finishing. I think St Kilda was a great victory there. So that's going to be it in terms of the wins and losses and my opinions on the games. Now, if you saw my round 1 results, I gave who's the winner of this round, the best winner, and who's the loser. So the winner of this round, the team that did the most incredible feat, the winner is Gold Coast. And I can't believe I'm saying that at round 2. They beat West Coast, who's arguably the team to beat. The team that people think are the most overpowered in every position. They destroyed them. And Gold Coast, you deserve that. You're the winner. You're the winner of this round. You're the winner of this week. You're the winner of round 2. And I couldn't say it enough. I think you did fantastic. And the loser, look, there's a bunch of losers here. I could even put Melbourne as a loser, but Nah, I'm going to put West Coast. I have to put West Coast. They lost to Gold Coast at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm going to change my mind. Sorry, guys. If you think Bulldogs are the losers of the round, let me know. But nah, it has to be West Coast. Not only did they lose to Gold Coast, but they lost convincingly. And more convincingly, the Bulldogs lost to St Kilda. So, at the end of the day, I think they have to be the losers of the round. But we all know they're not going to be losers for long. Bulldogs, they're going to have their fair chance. So will West Coast. And yeah, those are the losers and winners of this week. That's the record down there. You could see what was what my score was. Let me know what your score was in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the Sports Code or the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Sports Code was my old name, sorry about that. Turn notifications on, share the playlist, share the video with your friends, and please, I want to know your records. What did you predict for round 2 and what were the outcomes? I'd really love to know, and we can have a little matchup. Maybe someone got them all right. Very, very hard. I don't think anybody got them all right, but maybe there is someone out there that did, and I'd like to know about it. Anyway, have a wonderful and safe day. Take care, and peace.